Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Dr. Sei-wan, professor of economics at Ewha Womans University. Professor Kim, good afternoon. Thank you for making time today.
Good afternoon, Devin.
Well, stocks on Wall Street plunged overnight, led by the big tech stocks. There are also concerns of another wave of the coronavirus in the U.S. What's the story in the global markets?
It looks that global stock market has begun its adjustment against real economic activities. Actually, there has been growing concern on growing gap between stock market boom and stagnated real sector for the last 6 months. But due to resurgence of coronavirus and disappointment on high-tech stocks like Tesla, U.S. market plummeted in yesterday's market. Dow Jones Industrial and Nasdaq dropped by 1.9% and 3% respectively. But European markets over London, Paris, and Frankfurt had positive returns generated from high expectations on governments and central banks, fiscal and monetary policy stimulus.
And Korean stocks closing sharply lower today, too. The Kosdaq in particular down more than 3%. Tell us about the local markets.
Along with U.S. market, there was a huge drop in domestic market today. Kospi had a negative 2.6% and Kosdaq had negative 4.3% on daily basis. Since negative daily returns continues from last week, it could be a preliminary sign of structural downward adjustment.
Now, we have the government's fourth extra budget of the year passed by the National Assembly. So from today, there'll be more relief payments to people affected by COVID-19. What do you think will come out of these measures?
The fourth supplementary budget, which comes with 7.8 trillion won, provides diverse emergency cash supports on hardest hit families and businesses. Particularly, as we heard from previous report, government says 5 trillion won will be paid before Chuseok holidays to dampen COVID shock to the economy. Major cash support program includes employment support on freelancers and special employees, support on small business owners, and middle school and elementary school kids special care cash supports.
Well, now this is just the latest in the massive deficit spending by the government in the pandemic. What does that mean in terms of the state's fiscal soundness?
Well, almost 100% of the fourth supplementary budget is financed by selling government bonds or increasing government debt. So along with fourth supplementary budget, government debt will be increased up to 44% of total GDP. Since monetary policy does not effective in supporting hardest hit households and corporations, we understand that the only choice is fiscal support to these households and corporations. However, to avoid too much that burden to next generation, there should be something maximum limit of the budget increase should be provided and promised by government.
Professor, for a third month in a row, foreign currency deposits in Korea have reached new record highs. The exchange rates come down a lot against the dollar. What's happening with the foreign currencies?
It is a natural phenomenon that demands for safer assets like U.S. dollars increases as economic uncertainties are rising. Domestic residents foreign currency deposit touched a new all-time high up to $89 billion in August. But foreign currency deposit increase in August mostly came from corporate deposit increase. So it indicates there has been increase of the trade with foreign countries. So it is not necessarily a bad sign of the economy.
All right, Professor, we'll have to leave it there for today and catch up next week. Thanks so much for sharing your insights today.
Thank you very much.